Hello, this will be a video about my favorite type of electronic product over the last 2 years, and that is action cameras. Here's one of the 17, I can't believe that, 17 action cameras that I have, and if you cannot see them already, there's 2 memory cards right here. We're just going to talk about very quickly, maybe hopefully quickly, which memory card is best for your action camera. So if you're watching this video and if you are someone like me who would rather not spend $100+ on an action camera, then maybe you might possibly have one of these cheap cameras, but I'm sure the more expensive cameras will use these memory cards as well. The only cameras I own are cheap action cameras for less than $100. So this video is more from that context, but I'm sure that the more expensive devices also use micro SD memory cards. So that is as indicated in the title of this video. What this video will be about, it's about micro SD memory cards and which one is best for your cheap action camera. Not really much to discuss here, but I did want to just state a few thoughts because the more cameras I have, the more experience I have, so I feel like I'm just better able to talk about certain things pertaining to these cameras. So I'm holding 2 memory cards in my hand. They are very small micro SD memory cards. You can search them on Amazon. You can buy them in 2, 3, maybe 5, I don't know. But of course, maybe buying in bulk will get you a better discount, especially if you have multiple cameras, multiple devices that might use a micro SD memory card, or if you just have one device and you want to have several cards on hand, just in case. You can just switch them out and switch them out and switch them out and keep recording as long as you have a charger, and just storing the memory on these cards. Like if you're on vacation, you only have one memory card. Well, you can limited amount of footage there. So I have a 16 gigabyte card right here, micro SD memory card, and I also have a 32 gigabyte card. So the reason I brought these is that these are the only cards I have that capacity. Just to show you that really some of these, the 16 gigabyte cards came with the cameras. Like there's some cameras I bought, the micro SD cards included in the box, but more often than not, this isn't the one I usually buy, but the ones I buy, I think they're like SanDisk, I think, but I usually buy 32 gigabyte cards. So to answer the question in the title of this video, I think that the memory cards that I buy are usually the 32 gigabytes because I have had I've had 16 cameras. I just bought another one, but the 16 I've used all accepted a 32 gigabyte card, and that's most commonly what I will see when I buy cameras. I see that they accept 32 gigabytes. It is possible, maybe possible that some cameras will not accept, maybe some cheap cameras will not accept a memory card greater than 32, so maybe they won't accept the 64 gigabyte card. But most cameras, I think, will accept the 32 gigabyte micro SD memory card, or if you only have one available, 16 is also perfectly fine, from my experience with the cameras that I have. So, to answer the question, I would say that if you have a 16 gigabyte card, great. If you have a 32 gigabyte card, great. Also, just don't forget to read the product description if you just want to be sure. But I've had 16 cameras that I've personally used, minus the 17th that I haven't used yet, and they all accept a 32 gigabyte memory card. There's many companies that probably sell memory cards. So go on Amazon, maybe buy a couple, maybe buy 2 or 3 if you want to buy them in bulk. SanDisk, I think that's the name, SanDisk, they make a lot. This one doesn't really have a brand name on it, just a micro flash. It was included with one of the cameras, but I think 32 gigabytes is a good size because you can really store a lot of footage, and 16 is also acceptable, but if you really are kind of in a place where you don't have the option to transfer your footage and delete it and free up the space on the memory card, or you don't have another memory card, 32 gigabytes should be should work with most cheap action cameras. So this one I have here, this usually there'll be a slot on the side to insert the memory card. This one, it's kind of like down here, so it's a little bit more tricky, but you just have to find, as far as inserting the memory card, you have to find where it's gonna kind of go and kind of spring up a little bit, and then you take like a thin metal object and you're gonna hear a little click. Okay, just listen carefully. There's the click, and there it is, and then there's your, now it's in the camera. Sometimes the slot will be on the side. I mean, on occasion it will be down here, which is kind of annoying, but listen again. There's the click, there's your card. So 32 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes. For a lot of cheap action cameras, those will work perfectly well. And just remember, if you are using your memory card in a different device, you can go to the format option and format your memory card just to be sure that everything will just work smoothly. So that's the video. 32 gigabyte memory cards, 16 gigabyte memory cards. Both of those are totally acceptable for most cheap action cameras, but again, read the product description in case there's some restrictions. But I don't have any 64 gigabyte cards, but thankfully the 16 cameras that I've had, I've all accepted a 32 gigabyte memory card, and those are the memory cards that you see right here. There's a 32 and a 16. Both are good. I mean, the interesting thing about these is that they've just gotten cheaper and cheaper over time. So feel free to stock up, especially if you're going on vacation and you plan to do a lot of filming. Thanks for watching this video. Have a nice day. This has been a video about choosing the best micro SD memory card for your action camera. In this case, I would just say the 16 gigabytes and 32 gigabytes are both should be acceptable for most cameras, but again, make sure to read the product description and don't necessarily go by what I'm saying. But from my experience, a 32 gigabyte card has always served me very well. A good amount of storage space.